Hey guys, it's Rob from the Doctor Who show here. And straight up, I'm going to say I wasn't originally going to do a video on this topic, not because it wasn't a big topic and not because it didn't involve me, it actually did. But the closure of Big Chief Studios it just didn't interest me enough to make a video, and I've let it slide for the past week and a bit since the announcement of the closure of the studio. But with an email today from the consultancy that's wrapping up the company, I thought I'd talk some of the figures and go over the topic in general, and in the end up making a video for the channel. So let's start with a little background. Big Chief Studios have been around for a long time in the UK, making 1/6 scale figures of Doctor Who characters, and also in more recent times branching out into selling things like hot toys, making other collectibles, Peaky Blinders, Laurel and Hardy, Only Fools and Horses, all sorts of very UK-centric shows. And one of the hallmarks of being a Big Chief customer over the years was the extraordinary length of time they would take to make stuff. They would solicit money, they would go out with a pre-order for a figure, I must add, that they would have a prototype of. They would have gone out and got a head sculpt and clothing made, and they would solicit this figure around and say, look, we're going to make this, give us £200, £250, whatever it might be. And with a lot of the Doctor Who ones, for example, there would be a number of them with signed plaques from the actor involved, whether it be Tom Baker or Matt Smith or whoever. And then there would be a number of standard editions. And all of this was very good. These figures were made over a number of years. As I say, the big complaint was that they would just take so long to get made. You always had the sense that you were sort of giving them money in 1 year, and then you might not see your completed figure for another year or 2 or 3. I think it was almost 3 in the case of the 8th Doctor figure that I bought, which also had a signed Paul McGann plaque with it. And I always got the feeling that they were taking money for pre-orders and perhaps using it for other things. I mean, how could they not be? If they take money in 1 year but don't get completed figures for another 3 years, I'm sure that money just didn't sit in the bank. I think it was going off onto other areas, and then as the next figure came due to be released from the factory, they would have another pre-order of some other figure, and maybe that money wasn't going to that figure but was paying off the other loans. I don't know. It just always felt that way to me, and now with the news that the company is in major financial strife and has indeed wound up, obviously something very strange was happening behind the scenes. Now I know some people will say, oh, but there was COVID and it shut down Chinese factories and all of this, and yes, I was very keenly watching that because I had a pre-order for a Colin Baker 6th Doctor 1/6 scale figure. There were always excuses for it as the years went by. So I'm well aware of the excuses and such, but the pattern of behaviour that Big Chief showed over a long period of time, long before there was ever this thing called COVID, as I say, taking money in 1 year and then not delivering for years after that. I mean, it was a very strange business, obviously a very niche business that some of us in the Doctor Who community really appreciated because, hey, who else is making 1/6 scale Doctor Who figures of not just popular doctors like Tom Baker and so on, but good Lord, I have a William Hartnell 1/6 scale figure on my shelf. Who on earth goes and makes 1/6 scale figures of William Hartnell, a character actor from the 1940s, 50s and 60s? Who does that? Only Big Chief did. And so that's a bit of background on Big Chief. Now over to the financials. And as you can see, this comes from Begbie's Trainer, who are based in London. And under the Insolvency Act of 1986, Big Chief Studios' assets are £11,000 in cash, which is being held, and £21,600 in cash held by agents, which I presume, from the looks of this, Begbie's Trainer believes they can get back. And that's a total of £32,600. Now, there may be people out there, people in my shoes, who have ordered a figure thinking, oh, look, £32,600, that's great, they can pay back people like us. Unfortunately, no. When you look down at the liabilities, the preferential creditors, well, first up, employees, pay in arrears, holiday pay, things like that, £10,800. Also, you've got tax. That's a preferential creditor if ever I saw one. And there's quite a lot there, £19,847. So it goes on. And then you get down further to unsecured, non-preferential claims. That's people like us, people who had pre-ordered figures and would like their money back. Well, I don't think it's coming, guys. You look at trade creditors, £274,000. Employees, so we've got another fee for employees, £45,000. Directors' loan accounts, so some loans of £25,000. And then consumer creditors, people like you and me who had ordered figures, £879,335.38. Yikes. So, look, it puts into stark relief how many people out there had given money to Big Finish to get stuff made. As you can see, when you look at the assets of the company, £32,000 versus £879,000 in what people are owed for pre-orders and such, a total of £1.2 million they're in deficiency. You can see that people who have ordered figures and not got them are not going to get their money back through this insolvency process. There's just no way. There's nothing like the money left to do that. And I feel very sorry for people who, as I've learned through some Facebook groups, are in the hole, not just for a couple of £100 like I might be for Colin Baker, but are in the hole for literally thousands of pounds. Over the years, they've given a little bit here and a little bit there, and they've been waiting and waiting for all sorts of different figures, not just Doctor Who sometimes, but Thunderbirds was another IP they had. And these people are out for thousands of pounds and aren't going to get their money back. Their one ace in the hole is if they paid through PayPal and the payment was in the last, I think, 180 days, they can do a sort of chargeback there. But given how long Big Chief Studios took to make things, a lot of these payments people have made are 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They're beyond 180 days. So PayPal cannot give them their money back. When it comes to credit cards, if they used a credit card instead of PayPal, it can vary wildly. Some credit cards are quite good with repayments. I noted someone with, I think, an American Express got a very good refund, even though they'd bought these things a long time ago. Someone else had no luck. There are clauses in UK law that exist that might help some people. Obviously, they don't help people like me here in Australia. So many variables when it comes to how these things were paid for and whether you can charge back for them. But that's basically all you can do. If you are in a position with Big Chief Studios where you're thinking, well, goddamn, I gave them £200 or £400 or whatever it might be, I'd like that back. You're going to have to go through PayPal or your card provider. As you can see from these figures, the company has been managed, or should I say mismanaged, in such a colossally woeful way that, look, they owe £1.2 million and only have £32,000 in hand. So you're not going to get your money from them. Anyway, that's the story of Big Chief. That's some background. That's some figures when it comes to this insolvency that's going on at the moment. I hope you found that interesting. You might be just a 1/6 scale collector, come along to look at what's going on with this particular 1/6 scale company. You might be a Doctor Who fan. You might have just stumbled on this for some other reason. I don't know, but that's what's going on with Big Chief. Again, a video I wasn't too interested in making, but when these figures came in, it sort of tipped me over. Because as an unsecured creditor myself to the company, I do have an interest in this. So there you go. Anyway, let's talk about something happier next time on The Doctor Who Show.